It's me, Renee. I'm back. Today I'm here with a book talk. Book talk? Yeah, book talk for you guys. A book review, in other words. I don't have it here because I did it on audio. Definitely gonna buy the book because I loved it so much. What is the book you're talking about? You're hinting at? You're teasing it here? It is Wooing the Witch Queen by Stephanie Burgis. So this book came out in March. I heard about it before because it's been on my radar and it was has been on a list of like best new books of 2025, all those kinds of stuff. And also I've read some other Stephanie Burgess books, so I mean, when you start to read our author, you kind of, at least for me, you're kind of curious and check out what they have coming up next and whatnot. And this was also mentioned among among other things on Fated Mates, the romance the podcast. Can I talk? No, but yeah. And yeah, so I started with actually a bit of a funny story. And I suppose my only gripe with the book, but honestly, it's not really gripe with the book. It's more gripe with myself. I don't like this about myself here. It's yeah, it's more me being annoyed at myself. Um, okay, so the thing is, I listened to it on audiobook. I started it. I started just. I listened to it maybe like a few minutes back in. I want to say May actually, and then I stopped. Why did I stop? Would you ask? Well, because it was just too weird for me. Why was it weird? Okay, so this is a romantic book, fantasy, romantasy, like romance and other fantasy together in one. It's set in a whole different world. Uh, I suppose it kind of reminds in some way of our world. Like they talk about tea and they talk about caffeine, but yeah, it's a totally different world with magic and whatnot. Uh, but the thing is, the narrator, well, I suppose kind of two things. One, there was one narrator when there was two POVs, and honestly, to me, that kind of felt weird. I feel like if there's more than one POV, at least if there's more than yeah, at least if there's two POVs, you should have two narrators. Having just one narrator honestly feels wrong. I feel like most audiobooks nowadays, in those instances, have two narrators. This one didn't. It felt a bit weird. It was a bit weird to get used to. Yeah, I had issues with that, I suppose you could say. But the main thing here, and now you might get mad at me, maybe, or you might agree with me. But the main thing here, really, that I had a big, big gripe with, is that the narrator was American, and it was it was a fantasy story. Like it wasn't an urban fantasy. It didn't take place in New York or Seattle or Washington D.C. It took place in a whole different world. But the narration was American, like American voice, and it just I don't know. For me, that in the beginning was like, what, what, why, why? I just, I just couldn't with it. I just couldn't. And I suppose that goes to say, like, why would I be so against American voice doing a narration for fantasy book? I mean, there are lots of fantasy authors out there that are from the States. Stephanie Burgis, originally, she grew up in the States and now she lives in Wales. But still, I suppose for me, I don't know, I think honestly, if I'm gonna go deep inside my heart and my mind, I think what the issue was that is simply that I wasn't used to it. That I feel like most of the time when I listen to an audiobook and when it's fantasy related, no matter what the author is, like no matter the author's the author's background, if it's not urban fantasy that takes place in the US, then I feel like ordinarily, most often, usually is a better word. Usually, then the narrator uses a British voice. So for me, it's just like so. In the beginning, I listened to like a few minutes and I stopped because this is just weird. It's just weird. It can't be. And I suppose I could have just stopped and started it again physically because I have seen the book in bookstores. But then I thought, but I kind of want an audiobook to listen to right now because I always like, almost always have one audiobook on the go. Sometimes I'm switching between different audiobooks, but mostly it's one that I'm focusing on. So I said, Renee, don't stop. Listen for a few more minutes and then see if it's just you can't overcome it, you can overcome it. But try a bit more. And I tried more and surprise, surprise, I got used to it. So yeah, it was a big issue in the beginning, then I got used to it. I suppose also it helped that yeah, that the narration that the narrator did a very good voice, and they also did different voices for like the different characters, which I suppose it's kind of a prerequisite for a narrator. You shouldn't just do one voice for everyone because that's not really a narration. That's just kind of reading out loud, and also maybe not in that like that's grounds for being fired, at least in my mind. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that's my gripe with that. But except those two, and also those are small gripes. It felt a bit big, but there are small gripes. Except those two issues, this to me was perfection. I love this book so much. It's just amazing. It has dual point of view, which at least for me, it's kind of a must, or it's not a must, but honestly, I prefer books that has dual point of view. So yeah, I just love this book. I love the characters, like hands down, all of the characters. None of the characters disappointed. The villain was mean, stupid, all that those kind of stuff, but it was believable, and I liked them. You had smaller henchmen here and there, which I enjoyed. You had side characters who, like, every character felt needed and important, and I just loved every character. I loved the plot lines where, like, all the characters, or all the main characters, they had character developments that felt real and felt honest and earned. You had plot points that you didn't see coming. At least I didn't really see them coming. Like, twist, plot twist, and I like it. And honestly, one big point that I loved, like that kind of became more prevalent as as the um, as the pages flew by, is that okay? So as I said, this is romantasy. One of the characters pretends to be someone else because of because they kind of have to, because yeah, because Saskia, the queen in this in title, the Witch Queen, the queen is uh has like a feud with the neighboring country, with the duke of a neighboring country. She can't really stand him because of things that she assumes he has done. Turns out that that duke hasn't really been in charge of stuff. He's just been the figurehead. He hasn't really done stuff himself. So he wants to escape his family and his clutches. He's kind of in danger of being murdered. So in the beginning of the book, he escapes and he ends up in her kingdom. Well, sorry, in her queendom. But because of circumstances, he has to pretend to be someone else. Because, of course, she doesn't really like who he is. And then, like in the beginning, that's fine. After a while, they get feelings for each other. Then they fall in love. They get the holiness for each other. So, like at times, they're like, "I want to kiss you. I want to do stuff with you." But at times, Saskia is like, "I want to kill that neighboring duke," and then that duke is just sitting by her side and like, yeah, yeah, you should do that, yeah, yeah. Of course, in his head being like, I do, and it's just so bad. And like she says, like, I want to protect you so much, but that Duke over there is the biggest evil idiot in the world. Not knowing that they're the same person, and it makes for the best, biggest laughs, and it's just so comical and the best. I love it the best. It's yeah, amazing. But also the magic system, the world, the background. It's just everything in this book. Everything. I feel like for me, this book, not a single word was unearned. Not a single word was unimportant. Everything had its place, and everything was just served its plot. And honestly, this book is amazing. This is one of those books I'm gonna recommend everyone. I might maybe also in some weeks' time, I might just actually go to a store and buy lots of these copies of this book and then give them to people that I know that like say like you have to read it. I also actually have some addresses of some friends other places in Norway that do read. I might I might just send them a little like you get a book. I might do that. Maybe. Well, maybe I'll do that because I'm generous that way, and also I suppose not generous. It's like I suppose in a way it's egotistical because I want the rest of the world to see and read this amazing book. Like all the stars, I love it so much. It's the best book ever. Wooing the Witch Queen by Stephanie Burgis. Have you heard about it? Have you read it? Do you plan to read it after watching this? Well, obviously. I mean, you can't not after seeing my reaction, can you? If you can't, you're silly head. Silly banana. And yeah, I'll see you next. Bye.